Good Tuesday morning, East Tennessee. My name is David Aldridge, Chief Meteorologist of Captain AccuWeather, coming to you by way of the Captain AccuWeather Command Center on behalf of Weigel's Fuel and Food that's fast, fresh, and friendly. Well, I got to tell you what, this is some kind of morning because it's actually going to be quite warmer than we've had in before. By the way, we take a look back. I just want to say it's time to take a look back. Everybody loves a comeback story, still celebrating the return of the beloved Orange Creamsicle Milk by Weigel's. It's back for a limited time. The question is, have you gotten your first sip of the season yet? Oh, it's so delicious. It's available only at Weigel's. And if you haven't tried it, maybe you tried it some time ago, but it's back, but it's only around for that limited time. It's just better when it's fresh, farm to store in 24, and it's just better when it's with Tennessee cows. Gotta love it. And also to point out that it's just back. One of the many great flavored creations. They've got the peanut butter chocolate milk. They've got the standard chocolate milk, but there's also so many good flavors that you can grab, and you can pick up a cup of coffee while you're there as well, while you're filling up your tank. By the way, if you haven't noticed, we have now a new season. May I wish you season's greetings. Now, I know it happened last Saturday at 2:50 in the morning, so what are you talking about, Aldridge? Well, this is my first Facebook Live and YouTube Live, because I'm on both, since, well, over the weekend, that was public. I did one for premium on Sunday evening, but I know it's the time of year where the leaves start to change. Oh, and those pictures at East Tennessee. People travel for miles and miles and miles just to be here to see some of the beautiful color. And don't these pictures look sweet? Don't these pictures just make you say, I love fall? I know the leaves are dying, but they look so pretty when they do. And look at that. I mean, whether it's by the water, whether it's with the scattered clouds, it's just beautiful. East Tennessee is absolutely divine in many ways. And maybe you're just going to sit on a park bench and watch the fall color. Maybe you're going to do some hiking, no matter what you're doing. I just wanted to wish you a season's greeting. You say, well, that's for Christmas time. Maybe, but it's a change of season. So if I haven't had a chance to say hello to you, welcome to fall. I just want to say good morning to you. How are you? I'm on YouTube and I'm on Facebook Live at this very precise moment. If you're on here, I want to say good morning. I see Steve Stone. He's on YouTube. He says good morning. By the way, I've now surpassed the 1,000 mark on YouTube subscribers. So make sure you join me on that page as I'm putting some new videos on virtually every day. I see Fred says good morning. David at Weigel's getting some coffee. Thank you, Fred. And thank you for supporting my sponsor, which keeps me running here. Marilyn Bell says have a great Tuesday, everyone. And Janet Potts, good morning. I'm ready for some rain. I got some news on the rain. I've got some news that may not please everybody. For outdoor activities, it might be fine, but there will be even some severe weather. What? Tomorrow? Yeah, some places could find some isolated severe storms on Wednesday. Haven't heard that? Well, let me share that with you. I got a lot of information to pack in here in the next 18 minutes. By the way, if you love the fall color and you're not sure what you're looking at, this could be a guide. If it's crimson, could be the sour woods. Maybe you're a little partial to the sugar maple, the orange red. We're talking about orange creamsicle milk after all. Oaks, well, they're red, brown, and russet. Colors, and then hickories, golden bronze. So there's some cool things. I put a video on my Facebook post earlier this weekend, or last weekend, that gives you some guides on how the colors do change, because there's some fall science to it all. And I think a lot of us like to geek out and find out what kind of fall color they're going to see this year. By the way, the rain that we see down across, say, Florida, it's going to stay down there. We're not dealing with too much. There's some gray areas in Mississippi. They've got some dense fog areas. Speaking of fog, we've got some dense fog here. Not at my house, Aldridge. Well, maybe if you're in Jacksboro, it's next to zero. And if you're traveling on I-75 up toward Jellicoe, make sure you give yourself some extra time. 0 miles visibility in Middlesboro. And it's very poor, I would imagine, based on this map, from, say, Claiborne County. We're talking Tazewell, New Tazewell. Jonesville may not be great, maybe some surrounding areas, but please use the extra caution and use the low beams, because we're still quite some time away from sunrise, which is a little bit more than a half hour away. By the way, the deficit on rain is pretty pronounced over the last month. The last 30 days, where you see orange, which we love that color, but the legend of this map would say over 2 inches in the hole. So we're trying to dig ourselves out of a hole, and if you think the rain we're getting this week is going to cure all that ails us, think again. It's not. It's just not going to do it. It may just wet the palate, but it's not going to solve our problems because we are dry. And your lawn probably is telling you, hey, I'm dry, I'm brown now. If your lawn is turning brown, there might be that reason of the fact we haven't had much rain in the last 30 days. It's pretty bad around Nashville, too. Not as bad in the Tri-Cities, not as bad in Memphis, where the purple area, that's about a tenth of an inch on the deficit side. And as far as the drought monitor, which takes into other variables, takes into account other variables from NOAA, the only area as of right now, because this came out last Thursday, and really was taking into account last Tuesday's data, puts Chattanooga under level 1, abnormally dry conditions. But I suspect that'll grow on the next drought monitor, which comes out 2 mornings from now. It's really bad, extreme if not exceptionally drought conditions in parts of Louisiana, Texas, and Mississippi. So this is the country as a whole. Some areas could really use some rain. There's even some red areas around Tampa, but up toward Minneapolis. And if you're interested in how much rain we typically see, the short answer is 3.5. 3.5 inches of rain typically falls at McGee-Tyson, and that's based on the last 30 years that we have available for data, 1991 to 2020. We have other data, but we kind of basically clump all the 30-year normals on 10-year intervals. So we've got 1991 to 2020, we average about 3.5. And if you look at how much rain we've had, and we're now on the 26th, right? The 26th of September, 0.35. We've had a little more than 1/3 of an inch. So any rain we get this week would be beneficial. But of the 9 months, you can look at those numbers in black. That's the 2023 numbers. We've had now, I believe it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months, about 4 or 5 months above average. It just kind of ebbs and flows. And the average rainfall is usually just under 52 inches a year. By the way, the amount of rainfall we could see over the next day or two is not that impressive. Most of it's in Kentucky, where you see green. Maybe Middlesboro squeezes out a 1/2 inch based on this model. We take it into Friday, maybe a little bit more, but yeah, 1/2 inch around Middlesboro. It doesn't look like it's going to solve our problems. Maybe enough to say it rained in Morristown, maybe 1/3, but it looks really paltry around Knox County. So that's not what you probably wanted to hear. Want to say good morning to you once again. It is 6:46. I got some notes from Danny. He says, hope you have a nice day. Nice tie. Yeah, go Vols. In fact, it's a Lady Vols tie. I don't know if you can see that, but it's kind of cool. I got Ladies Vols on it. Michael Norman says, I feel like we're in the Smoky Mountain Desert right now. I would agree with you, Michael. We're on track for being one of the drier Septembers. In fact, for less than an inch, I've counted only 13 years since Ulysses S. Grant, going back to 1871, when the records from the National Weather Service are on the books. We've had 13 Septembers where there was an inch or less occurred at the airport. And we're on track to be one of those numbers. I'll keep you posted. But Felicia says, good brisk morning from South Knoxville. And if you're on YouTube, because we're doing both, Steve Stone says, good morning, glad to have him on here. And it looks like we're having a few more people joining me on YouTube, because I love to expand the reach. And you could say there's now 6 people watching. Awesome. Love it. 6 people watching on YouTube. So as we continue to grow and continue to notice the rain or lack thereof, we'll be hopeful that we can get something in here before the week is through. And our best chance will be tomorrow, and tomorrow afternoon will be our chance for possible severe weather. More on that in just a moment. By the way, Crossville is around 56. Jamestown, currently 56. If you're in the low 60s, good chance you're in either Morristown, Knoxville, or Oak Ridge. Because Sevierville, Pigeon Forge, 57 this morning. These are your current temperatures. Newport, 58, and out the door, Athens, Madisonville, around 59 degrees at this particular time. It is 6:48. I want to get you out the door. If you're traveling this morning, they are in the 70s in Memphis, but 60s eastbound towards Charlotte, Greensboro, and in the 70s, low 70s in Atlanta and Birmingham. So those are your temperatures around the state and beyond. Dew point temperatures have dropped and still remain low. It's not sticky. Amazing how it's not sticky. Crossville's got dew points around 54, Jacksboro around 60. So where we have some reporting numbers, most of us are in the upper 50s. It's comfortable, but can it get sticky soon? Will it turn stuffy once again? I think today's a quite warm day. Temperatures today should reach the mid-80s. I've got 86, but if some of you hit 87, or dare I say even 88 in some urban areas, it wouldn't surprise me. I mean, we're so dry in the soil, it wouldn't take much to get into the mid to upper 80s today. But watch the humidity. It dances all around us in green, either in Atlanta, maybe Mississippi, Alabama. By 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, it starts to increase, that is, the dew points, in Cookeville, and maybe around, say, Murfreesboro, some Nashville area. But then it really moves in here on Wednesday. That's when we've got our best chance of showers, storms coming in from the north and west. And then it retreats, and it's comfortable once again, and you'll find that humidity just really not much of a factor. It kind of dances in and dances out, kind of like the hokey pokey. But wind speeds, we've got light winds today, expected 0 to 5. That's pretty much where we are now. Some scattered clouds at this moment. Even though it's dark, I do know there's some scattered clouds out there, and we'll find hazy sun today, but it will be, I think, a little bit warmer. Yesterday's high as I look at the numbers here. Yesterday we hit 84 degrees in Knoxville. It was 85 in Oak Ridge. So I think we'll be a couple of degrees, at least a couple of degrees warmer today than we were yesterday. By the way, it's back. It's back, the orange creamsicle milk. It's a crowd favorite. And, of course, when the Vols are on the field at Neyland this time of year, it's a great comeback story. Love it. And only at Weigel's, available for a limited time. It's just better when it's fresh. Farm to store, 24. And it's just better when it's with Tennessee cows. Got to love that. By the way, as we get back to our forecast, look at this. I got to show you this. The bigger picture, sunrise, sunset, is now as late as 7:27. Now, this will blow one's mind. How is it the sunrise is at 7:27 and the sunset is at 7:27? That would seem like it's equal. Yeah, that should have been what we had on the equinox. It typically happens 3 days after in the fall, and it happens 3 days early in the spring. Why is that? It's because of our latitude on the curvature of the Earth. So we typically see our equal day, equal night. Today is technically our 7:27 times. That's so weird. I thought it was on Saturday. Well, astronomically speaking, it was for the planet. But for us, our sunrise and sunset time match today, which is precisely 3 days after the time frame. Now, next spring, the vernal equinox, it'll happen 3 days before. Isn't that something? You feel like you learn something new every day. By the way, as you take a look at the bus stop forecast, we've got kids heading to school in the 50s and 60s, about 62 for Knoxville, 68 by 10 o'clock, and by the 2 o'clock time frame should be around 83. I suspect 86. Here are your numbers for today. If you take away nothing else but this map, please know if we hit 87 today, wouldn't surprise me. Some of you in the plateau won't get out of the low 80s. That's a given. I understand that. Elevation plays a role. But about 85 for Middlesboro, 84 for Newport, Cosby, Del Rio, Parrotsville, 88, there's an 88 in Athens. So the Southern Valley has the best chance to reach the mid-80s. By the way, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, I hope you'll do so. It's free. It's also cool because we're continuing to expand on this channel. I love it. Steve Stone's on here. Love it. And we've got now, it looks like 5 people watching. Love it because people get ready for work and school. And if you're on Facebook, I've got Michael Norman on here. It's got Ed. Ed says, good morning. Where does the El Nino fit into our weather now? Well, you could argue all of this is playing a role in the fact that we are under a strong El Nino. Last year, we were under a La Nina. So you could make an argument that this upcoming winter could be the polar opposite of what we had last winter. Just throwing it out there. A lot of folks don't know what kind of winter we're going to have. That's why I urge you and encourage you to sign up for my premium service. Go to CaptainAccurate.com. Got more on that, and the subscribing to the YouTube channel is absolutely free. It'll be warmer today, easily into the mid-80s. Rain chances tomorrow and Thursday, and then it's dry this weekend for the Vols game as they take on the Gamecocks of South Carolina. Let me get to the tropics here at 6:53, and then we'll get to the severe weather potential, even locally in the next day. But notice the tropics. There are some areas that are disturbed around Cuba. That is not tropical in the sense that there's no development concerns from the Hurricane Center. But there are some hot spots there in the middle of the Atlantic. This is Tropical Storm Philippe. The last note from the Hurricane Center at 5 a.m. said that Philippe was rather disorganized. So if you were concerned, don't be. Philippe looks like he's getting weaker by the day. He's like the toy you got on Christmas where the battery started to fade and it starts to slow down. That's what Philippe is, right? Philippe has winds around 40 on Friday, down to 30 on Sunday, and just a remnant low perhaps with 30-mile-an-hour winds. So we're not too worried about Philippe. Something behind Philippe may develop, and that could get the name Rena. Now, if you look at the water vapor, which as a weather geek, I love this. This is cool. What you see in brown is the dry air. But you can see 2 areas in dark green in the center of your screen. That would be Philippe and potentially Rena. But if you come back home, the brown area is the dry. Okay, yeah, we're very dry, right? It seems like we've been dry quite some time, and the dry air is just moving in here from Memphis and Nashville, and some clouds may account for some of that moisture that we have here. But there's now a 90% chance we get the next named storm in red. That would be Rena, and that's the track or the direction that Rena would take, kind of following on the heels of Philippe. It should stay out to sea. The 7-day National Hurricane Center outlook shows nothing in around Cuba, but there is some disturbed weather producing rain and showers. So Rena, Sean, and may I say hello, Tammy. I know we have some people named Tammy out there. You might be the discussion around the water cooler in the coming days and weeks, because I think we're going to still be talking about the tropics even into October. How do I suspect that? Because I post it every day on my premium site on Facebook. So if you want to know what's going to happen weeks in advance, or at least get some previews, check me out. It's only 16 cents a day or $4.99 a month. By the way, the Storm Prediction Center showing some hot spots. I mentioned we've got severe weather potential here tomorrow. Today it's around Chicagoland, and it's back toward El Paso. El Paso and parts of New Mexico have the isolated severe storm threat in dark green. There's also some areas around Indianapolis, Chicago, and Peoria. Those are some hot spots for today for severe weather if you have family there. Thunderstorms might occur overnight tonight. That's what's kind of faded there in green, light green, for Wartburg and Jamestown, but I think it's really going to come in, especially tomorrow afternoon. So much so, the Storm Prediction Center has now Cincinnati, Lexington, and, say, Murfreesboro under the isolated severe storm threat. But coming home, this includes Jellicoe. This includes parts of Campbell County, certainly most of Morgan County, including Wartburg, and Crossville. Cumberland County has the potential for isolated severe storms most likely tomorrow afternoon. So we're not out of the woods. I mean, you say on one hand we're not going to get a lot of rain. That's true. But where it rains, it could pour. That's true, too, because the humidity might come back up, and we might have just enough of a spark to bring in some stronger storms on Wednesday. And that's reflected here in the dark green areas on Wednesday from the Storm Prediction Center. Thursday, not much to see here at all. In fact, you could see some just some general thunderstorm risks there in dark green across much of the area from Texas all the way back to East Tennessee. Now, right now, it is 62 degrees at 6:56 in the morning. We have a light wind out of the north. Dew point's comfortable. It's 59, and relative humidity is at 90%. So we can keep an watchful eye on this. Hallie Gibson says, "Oh, I love all the extra information." She says over here, "I love all the extra information you give us. I love learning new things." Thank you. You're welcome. Love it. And it was kind of like one of those self-discoveries. I'm like, wait a minute. I thought it can't be the same sunrise everywhere on the globe because the Earth is curved. Makes sense. But anyway, just wanted to pass some of that cool stuff. You can take that to the water cooler, maybe even to the students, and test them. Did you know it's 3 days after the equinox in the fall, but 3 days sooner in the spring? Makes sense. Maybe it doesn't. Anyway, you can Google it. Check it out. 60% chance of rain Wednesday, 40% chance on Thursday, and then a 20% chance, and that's generous, would come in the pre-dawn hours on Friday. Don't expect a lot on Friday. So if you don't get rain tomorrow, it's slim pickings thereafter. By the way, here's my forecast with the Valley Planner in view. And a quick note, the average high at this time, the 26th of September, is only 79. We should be at least, he says, at least 7 degrees above normal today. I can't emphasize, this is going to be the warmer day. Is it fall? It doesn't feel like fall. It should be fall. My calendar says it's fall, but maybe the pendulum can swing abruptly later in October, and it will. But maybe it'll swing, and then it was, it's too cold, too fast. You can't please everybody, right? That's just the way weather works. It's kind of like when you go to the beach, high tide, low tide. I wish the surf was slower. Like if you're there in the afternoon, it'd be go there in the morning. And it's just the way it goes. It's sometimes just how things all balance themselves out. Futurecast looks like a front trying to move through Missouri. Not a whole lot to see here. If we see any rain today, I did leave a 20% chance for the Smokies. And really the mountains of North Carolina. You can see it right there. Voila, 5 o'clock. Hey, it rained in Bryson City. Okay, that's expected. 20% chance of rain today in the Smokies. I have confined it to there only. If it made it to the foothills, I'd be surprised. But most of it's going to be like you see pictured here in the Smokies or western North Carolina. We move into tonight, call it partly to mostly cloudy. The rain's having a hard time getting in here. If you expect it tomorrow morning at sunrise, it will be slim pickings. The best chance will come in the afternoon like this. It'll come in and maybe fire up like that, and that's why I left a 60% chance for some rain on Wednesday afternoon. And you can see the rain kind of dances around. Front stays slowly moving across Indiana. We'll do it again on Thursday, maybe to a lesser degree. I left a 40% chance there, and maybe a leftover shower on Friday, mainly early. Here's another look at the Futurecast as it's now 6:59, almost to the 7 o'clock hour. And you can see with temperatures today at 78 at noon, it's going to feel pretty good. It's going to feel good, but it's just going to warm up fast for the afternoon. I got us at 86. I see a green dot just southeast of Sevierville and Newport, so the Smokies might get a spot of rain, but it's not headed here. It's going to converge there and die away in the evening hours. Now we move into tonight, partly to mostly cloudy. Yeah, there's some rain in North Carolina, maybe southeast Kentucky, but it's really not until the afternoon that we start to see this little line that could produce strong to severe storms, especially northwest of Knox County. So that's the 5 o'clock Wednesday. This is like the hope and prayer many of us have had is some rain. It's just not going to be enough, nor will it be long-lasting to solve our dryness issue. Our dryness issue will continue, that I can assure you. And then we've got a little reinforcement there Thursday morning. So here we are, 7 o'clock, as scheduled, 86 degrees, my expectation. If we hit 87 or even 88, especially Athens, Southern Valley, wouldn't surprise me. But I will expect 86 today. Mountains, spots of rain, maybe a thunderstorm there. Today, high of 84 for Wartburg, Morristown, and Newport, 86 for Maryville, Alcoa, 81 Sevierville, Pigeon Forge, 85 around Tellico Plains and Madisonville. Highs around 90 in Nashville. They were in the 90s around Tupelo and Memphis yesterday. So the hot weather that we are seeing forecasted here out west was there yesterday. And that's why we're going to taste a little bit of that heat. Even Chattanooga should be in the upper 80s today. Tonight we're down to 62, partly to mostly cloudy. Patches of fog, no surprise. We had it this morning. We'll get it again tomorrow. But lows are about 59, La Follette, Duff, and Caryville. Jacksboro, 62, Oak Ridge, Oliver Springs, and Clinton, 62 for Talbot, White Pine, Alpha, as well as Russellville. 58 for Sevierville, Pigeon Forge, and 64 for Maryville, Alcoa in the morning. Looking ahead to the Captain Accurate Weather Authority forecast, I'll do you one even further. I'm going to not only give you the Saturday forecast, I'm going to give you the kickoff temperature on Saturday for the game. The game's at 7:30, Aldrich. I know. That's why I put the kickoff temperature 75. But you said 85. 85 is think of the tailgating temperature, right? You're going to tailgate all day. You're going to build to 85, but it's a night game, right? 7:30. I know last I checked, sunrise, sunset, both at 7:27. So it'll be dark. By the time the kickoff starts, they'll be under the lights. And temperatures for kickoff, I expect at 75. Mostly sunny Saturday, mostly sunny Sunday. But today, most likely will be the warmest day of the next 7. Saturday could be close at 85. But again, normal high now is 79. Amazing how things can change so dramatically. By the way, it's back. I'm talking about the orange creamsicle milk. Still celebrating the return of the beloved orange creamsicle milk. Everybody loves a comeback story. Have you gotten your first sip of the season yet? Available now for a limited time only at Weigel's. The orange creamsicle milk. It's yummy, rich, and creamy. It's just better when it's fresh. Farm to store in 24. Oh, and it's just better when it's with Tennessee cows. Who on earth would argue with that notion? I think it makes sense to me. It's just better when it's with Tennessee cows. And by the way, make sure you pick up a cup of their awesome, delicious coffee while you're filling up your tank today and tell them Captain Accurate sent you. Anyway, my name is David Aldrich. Some people call me Captain Accurate. It's not easy being accurate, so weather doesn't surprise you. We'll see you here next time. Take care.